Some doctors were doing checkup of a patient's brain. At that time, they noticed something that nobody else noticed in medical science. This patient had a brain disease because of which doctors were recording his brain activities using EEG. For doctors, it was a normal routine brain checkup, but they didn't know that during this test, something is going to happen that will shock the whole medical science. A few minutes after, while the test was running, the patient died of heart attack. This situation happened for the first time in their life that someone died during brain test. Now, doctors totally believed that whatever happened in his brain during death would be recorded in his test. Everything that was happening in the patient's brain before and after death was recorded. The patient who died during the test was a 78 years old who had a disease called epilepsy. Due to this disease, he used to get seizures, and because of this, doctors were recording his brain waves using EEG. For this test, nearly a dozen of electrodes are stick to the patient's brain, which detect the electrical charges coming from brain cells and shows them on computer screen. Now, how does doctors know what is going on in the patient's brain? Through the test. To know this, we need to understand the concept of brain activity. There are more than 1 billion neurons in human brain. These neurons are important for our nervous system, whose work is to send messages from one place to other in our brain. These messages are actually electrical waves. Neurons from one side send the message and other side receive it and process message and signal any body part to perform an action. There are many commands being processed in our brain. Because of that, uncountable neurons move from one place to another. A pattern of waves are created by the movement of these neurons, which are called brain waves. There are different waves for different works, and medical science has named them to gamma, beta, alpha, theta, and delta. Alpha has a frequency of 8 to 12 Hz. Our brain produces alpha waves when we are relaxed, like when we wake up or while doing yoga. Now, let's understand beta waves. It has a frequency of 12.5 to 30 Hz. It is produced when we are wide awake and busy in our work or while focusing on something. Gamma waves have the frequency of 25 to 140 Hz. It has the highest frequency rate. Our brain produces gamma waves when we are very active or while performing complex activities. People who are very intelligent have one of the highest gamma waves. Delta wave have the lowest frequency, which is 0.5 to 4 Hz. Delta waves are created when we are in deep sleep. Delta waves create many hormones in our body, especially growth hormones. These waves are found in children mostly. As we get older, delta waves get lower, and at last, theta waves, which have the frequency of 4 to 7 Hz. These are created during memorizing, learning new skills, and while daydreaming. As we know the basic about brainwaves, it will be little easier to understand about the patient's brain scan, as we got to know that gamma waves have the frequency of 25 to 140 Hz. There is another range which goes from 30 to 100 Hz. Our brain produces these special waves when we use our memory or recall special events of our life. During the patient's death, these waves were found. Scientists researched on this from 2017 to 2022. They wanted to compare it with other reports, but this was the only one, and because of it, this wasn't given or published to the public for 5 years. They asked many people who nearly escaped death, and they told that they felt like someone kept their life in front of them